we are joined by special guests from PHLY, Bill Matz. Bill, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here. Nice little matinee down in South Philly today. Looking forward to watching your Avs.
I'm looking forward to watching this Philly team too. Let me start off by asking you this: have they performed above expectations this year?
Wildly above expectations to this point. Coming into the season, maybe it was just a lot of us being wishful thinkers, like, oh, they're rebuilding, so probably a bottom 5 team. But the expectation was this team was going to be picking in the top 10 of the draft, and now it's, hey, we're 2 points out of the Metro. Like, division title? It's the conversation has changed dramatically in the last couple of months, and it's been a ton of fun.
What's the secret sauce? Is this just the Tortorella effect? Is this something come together? Is it just health?
I think it's a little bit of everything. John Tortorella is a huge part of it. He's opened up his offense a little bit this season. It took all last year to really master what he likes to do defensively. Saw it a lot in the last game against Minnesota, where they just allowed absolutely nothing through the middle. And now that they're kind of committed to their defense, it has allowed Tortorella to say, all right, and now when we create turnovers, everybody bust your ass up ice. We're looking for 2-on-1s all the time. And that's kind of how it's gone. And having Sean Couturier back certainly helps. I mean, when he's healthy, a Selke-level defensive center, a guy who can also score 30 goals for you, that's been huge. Bringing in someone like Sean Walker, an unknown commodity, it's like, oh yeah, all of a sudden we have a viable top 4 defense. It's been a lot of different things, but Tortorella, I think, is key among them.
I wanted to ask you, Bill, about your impression of Torts towing the line and being effective with his players and also a tough coach, which is what he has a reputation for. I know Morgan Frost has had one-on-one meetings to advocate for himself. I personally was a little bit stunned when he didn't let Bobby Brink play in front of all his friends and family in Minnesota. Yeah. And I'm wondering, too, 1, are they going 11-7 tonight? And 2, do you think he has a good pulse for the room? Do you think that these decisions with some of these young players has had an adverse effect, or is that exactly why they're having the success that they're having?
I do think he's got a better pulse of the room than he did last year. Last season, he sat Travis Sanheim in Calgary with his friends and family there, and that was like a big deal. It really hurt the locker room. It led to a lot of the divisiveness that they tried to fix this offseason. They almost traded Travis Sanheim, if not for Torrey Krug in St. Louis being like, nah, I'm not doing that, not going. See a lot of that in Philly right now. But no, I do think he's got a good pulse for it. He's poking a guy like Morgan Frost. He's been challenging him to come in and challenge me back. I want you to disagree with me. I want you to want to be in this lineup. And finally, Morgan Frost did that. And we're getting the best Morgan Frost we've seen in a year, and he's getting the most ice time he's seen since he's been an NHL player. So I think it's taken him a little bit of time to learn what buttons to and not to push with this room. He sat Cam Atkinson a few games ago, and they go back to their time in Columbus together, tremendous respect for each other. He's learned when he can and can't push, when he needs to give them a day off. They've had a busy schedule, so, okay, we're going to cancel some practices. Also, if you don't give me full effort, you're going to play 56 seconds this game. You're not going to like it.
Bill, I got a question. It's not a question for you. It's more a statement. See if you agree with me or not. And I'm older, just so you're aware. I'm older, so these guys know. I'm an old Grizzly vet.
Certainly blind.
Yeah, I'm blind and old. Off the ice, forget about the results on the ice. You know, I'm going to talk about off the ice. You got Danny, you got Jonesy, and you got Torts. I happen to know all 3 of them really well. You know, Danny, I've been played against him and from the same area. And, you know, Jonesy, I haven't played with him. I was at his wedding. And Torts I haven't played for. I think, and this is my statement, what it represents to be a Flyer, I do believe that the mixture of those 3 is absolutely tremendous. And I think you saw it in full display, I would say, 14 days ago, whatever it was, with the Cutter Gauthier thing. And for me, those three guys bring one word, and where maybe it got lost a little bit over the last couple of years, and it brings credibility. So I don't know if you agree with me on that. It's not a question, but it's more like a statement.
No, I absolutely agree with that. The Flyers have had a credibility issue with their fans, and if that
Right.
Cutter Gauthier situation had happened under the previous regime with the kind of nameless, faceless Comcast ownership with Dave Scott and then Chuck Fletcher kind of running things, this fan base would have been in an uproar. Like, oh, you ruined this, you screwed this up. We'd be mad at the Flyers, and most fans have been for a few years. This new regime with Danny, with Torts, and with Jonesy, I would love to hear stories about that wedding because that must have been hilarious. But it's all people the fans can relate to and in some way or another at least believe. That credibility you're talking about, and like that thing, the Cutter situation kind of galvanized this fan base. Suddenly, the old school fans and the analytics fans, we're all together, and it's like, no, screw that guy. We love the Flyers, and you have to love it to be here. That's what it's turned into recently, and the way they handled it is a huge part of it.
I do want to shift gears a little bit to today's game with our Circle K Who's Gonna Eat segment. I'll start for us. One player is going to get the job done tonight. I'm going for the Avs with Jonathan Drouin. He's had a couple of down games. He's a guy who has established himself in the Avs top 6. I want to see him do it consistently, prove that he can be here permanently for the Avs in a role that is important. Not a big, long stretch, 10 games where he struggles again. He's got to be able to have the ups and downs and get back up on the top of it. Megan, Eric, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Ross Colton. We saw what that line was doing together with Miles Wood, having recently returned, provided a lot of energy. But I think Ross Colton's due for a little bit of production, and he's sort of who you're looking to on that line to provide it. Miles Wood obviously has come through in the last 2 games, but I'd like to see Colton be the guy.
I like the Drouin thing because I took him last game and he certainly wasn't a Circle K dog eater,
we
whatever
were
we want to
0 for
call
4
that.
on our
He
our
was
dogs
not
the other
eating,
night,
so that's
yeah.
a good pick. He's been awesome, obviously, the last 15, 20 games, but last one he wasn't good. I expect a good one. So I'm going to go with, as our good friend Bill knows now, the Flyers are coming at you. They're coming at you hard, and I think you're going to need a big game out of Devon Toews tonight. That's going to be my guy there, where he's going to be a stud on the back end and also jump up in the attack, and I get a little bit of relief for Kyle McCarr on the deactivation.
Bill, who you putting the dog pound mask on for?
I gotta go with my guy Owen Tippett. You're talking about Jonathan Drouin searching for that consistency. That's what Tippett has found recently. Want to see him keep it going. Now, is he going to score in every single game, highlight real goals like he's been the last few nights? I mean, that's a lot to ask of anybody. But just to see him keep this level of play going, I think he's taken his game to the next level, and good for him. He's a pending free agent, so that's going to pay off for him. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing if Owen Tippett can stay at this level where it's, maybe he's a 40, 45 goal scorer. So I'm going with him for this today.
Scored a nice goal, too.
Goal of the year candidate.
That was awesome.
Outrageous. Always been a big Owen Tippett fan as well, so I'm absolutely here for this take.
We all silly like the mayor.